And now I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Ranjith. Ranjith, please.
Thank you, Kuldeep, for setting the context and guiding us all through this the entire pitch for this session. So thank you, Prashant, for hosting this PowerPoint here, and good afternoon, everyone, once again. So you can go to the next slide. Yeah, so I thought I will just add on to what Kuldeep just mentioned. Because all the data points are presented by Kuldeep. But just so that being the first speaker, I thought I'd just set the context in a few minutes. So all of us know that just yield per animal point of view, we are a fraction of where it can get to, and it's not about animal genetics, or it's not about practices in a big way, and the supply chain digitization will go a long way in this direction. The average farm size is pretty small. It is good as a hobby level backyard farming, but to sort of trigger an entrepreneurial approach, we need to increase the herd size. We may not be able to increase the herd size to the extent of the Western economy like the Europe or US, but our landholding patterns are quite reasonable to the extent that it can definitely go above the 2 to 3 animal levels. The production angle was sort of, I think, solid complete dairy sector is organized thanks to some pioneering work done by all, right? We just need to look at the next level, which is probably to improve the productivity and improve the quality, improve the productivity at a farm level. That needs to go up. And can we build in a notion of quality and traceability? We are, as we speak, at about 143 million liters of milk per day. This is the number quoted by a finance minister in one of our earlier budget speeches. It comes to about over 200 million tons of milk on an annualized basis. Though India is the largest producer in absolute and aggregate terms, we hardly export any high quality milk to the premium economies, right? You see a lot of milk being exported by Fonterra from New Zealand into Europe. But though we are the largest producer in terms of in aggregate terms, we don't seem to be doing well on that front. And I think quality has a large role to play here, right? And we believe the next wave of growth in the industry will be quality led and not quantity led. Hence, things like consistent testing across the supply chain and traceability it becomes extremely critical. Testing closer to the farm as opposed to testing at the plant becomes critical. Productivity and quality will go hand in hand because the cost of tests, the cost per test per liter is going to be pretty big if the productivity doesn't sort of go up. So for example, in an 8 to 5 liter farm, there are only so many tests you can administer at a farm level. But if the farm productivity goes up to 200 liters per day, then there are a whole bunch of other tests that you could administer at the farm level. So I think quality becomes a pretty key, component in our journey. So in summary, I think the focus has to shift from the quality, from productivity to quality and traceability, and this is what I've tried to show in this slide. So the next focus has to be on, shifting, from aggregate production to improving productivity, quality, and traceability. And I think digitization will play a big role in doing this. Next slide, Prashant. So one of the things that we have attempted to do is if we can actually build out a digital access network that can collect data across the supply chain. Starting from the farm side, can we have affordable technologies that even a smallholder farmer can deploy? This could be it could be any animal, wearable solution, and can the data and then collected at the farm side be correlated at the data at the collection center? So the whole bunch of hooks that we have at the collection center, then there are a whole bunch of hooks we have at the chilling center. The idea is to have certain hooks across the supply chain that can be used to collect data and drive home what I just summarized in the previous two slides. Drive home productivity, quality, and traceability. The next slide. And once you've actually set out this digitization platform, once we have this backbone in place with the hardware hooks that spans across collection center, chilling center, processing plant, right through to the distribution, it enables a lot of value addition to the various stakeholders in the ecosystem. For example, the dairy processors can also benefit from the quality improvement, being able to benchmark the quality vis-a-vis other providers in that space, provide more value-added products, improve farmer loyalty by avoiding churn. Just because another dairy processor increases the per liter price, how do you avoid churn and build a more loyal set of farmers who can pour milk to you? Have mechanisms to rate which is your better performing asset, which chilling centers and collection centers are better performing, right? So that you can focus on almost like an appraisal mechanism, focus on people who have to improve while you can sort of incentivize those assets that are giving you better throughput and better quality, right? And farmers get benefited by instant payments so that it's completely digital. And as in the post-COVID and in the COVID era, I think digital payments become critical. No one wants to handle cash manually. People want cash to be available when they need it. Can we have mechanisms to enable the other ecosystem players like banks to sort of start using the alternate credit scores that we're developing for the dairy farmers? Can we provide additional credit mechanisms to the farmers by way of credits for calves, credit for nutrition, credit for buying more cattle, and so on and so forth. So the data plays a pretty critical role in ensuring that both the processors and the farmers benefit. And this sort of one basic pivot of the digitization across the value chain. Next one. Prashant. And what we've done is we've sort of taken an ecosystem-led approach to make this happen. Once you have sort of set out a digital highway from the farm through to the consumer, then it sort of enables a lot of the other ecosystem players to participate. It could be people who are in the extension services realm, people in the nutrition realm, financing realm, and people actually developing innovative solutions on the quality realm. All of these ecosystem players can be onboarded onto the digital platform so that it becomes an ecosystem-led approach, right? That digitization will enable onboarding of various players. It's a large market and highly fragmented, complex, as Kuldeep mentioned. And unless we take an ecosystem-led approach, it becomes pretty unwieldy to sort of everyone to reap the benefits of this of the digitization. So the idea is to enable a digitization-led approach where folks can participate, hook onto a platform. So that the idea is to not solve this in one district or one state. The idea is if we can solve this across the country so that it becomes digitization is applicable at scale and doesn't become a niche approach just limited to a few villages of your districts. So the idea is to have a platform that enables multiple ecosystem partners to onboard onto a platform. Next one. And as we saw a quote from Kuldeep that said, "There's no point in all this technology until it can deliver value on the ground, until the smallholder farmers can benefit." So based on our interventions, we have seen that there can be a significant improvement if you actually roll it out in a very effective manner. In the net income of the farmer can grow by an order of magnitude. As you can see, the productivity can grow by an order of magnitude. And also the consumers like you and I can benefit significantly from premium products being delivered at our doorstep. Dudwala, who will be one of the speakers, have done some pioneering job in solving these distribution problems. I think we need more such players to solve the problems from a hyper-local delivery point of view. So the idea is all of these digitization will only help if it can deliver on its promise on the ground. And this is something that we have seen is possible based on some case studies that we have implemented in and around in Karnataka, for instance. The next one, Prashant. So what are the challenges? Obviously, adoption of solution across is a complex ecosystem, as you have seen. There are multiple stakeholders here, farmer, extension teams, agents, procurement teams. There has to be an incentive for everyone so that the solutions are adopted. Then the the dairy process today don't think farm is part of their supply chain, but I think a greater ownership and greater affiliation to the farm side will be useful. As you know, in any supply chain, once you digitize, things become very transparent, and people are not very happy when things become transparent. So the idea is, over time, this could be the only way it happens. Over time, if we habituate people to do this over and over again, this is probably the only way people will do it. And also the other point that I'd like to point out is dairy is fairly highly regulated, in the sense more than half of the organized sector is cooperative, and cooperatives are quasi government control. So from time to time, you'd see that, be it on the SMP front, be it SMP export import, be it SMP prices, be it subsidy to the farmers from the cooperatives. There are interventions that happen which sort of tend to skew the free market forces. So the idea is we should let the market forces play out, which sort of can leverage the full potential of digitization. These are some of the things that were on top of my mind. And that's about what I had. I will hand it over for any questions, or let the next speaker speak up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjith, for giving such a nice presentation and a crisp one, where you simply talked about the specific areas related to the dairy ecosystem as such. And later on in the question and answer session, we will see, I think there will be a lot of queries, how to meet out these challenges related to particularly the transactional challenges related to different kind of policies by the government in the whole system. So we'll take it up later.